Let's come into our comfortable seat. I'm sitting on a block. You might be sitting on a folded blanket or cushion. Closing your eyes. Perhaps gazing down towards the earth. Our practice today is a practice to connect with the energy that expands and contracts. Spanda, the pulsation or the primordial vibration of the universe. We sense this movement. It sometimes can be a very subtle, delicate movement, or it could be very powerful. And we sense this expansion and contraction of movement in our breath. As we breathe in, our lungs expand. As we breathe out, our lungs contract. The pulsation and the beat of the heart and the way that the blood flows through our veins and arteries. And we can feel that pulsation by touching the pulse points. The way that we blink and open our eyes. It is built into our very DNA, the spirals, the circles, that sense of movement. We see it in the universe. The way that galaxies form, the circular spiral shapes of the galaxies, the movement of the ocean, the waves, the ebb and flow of water, the cycles in nature, the waxing and waning of the moon, the cycles of day and night, the rising and setting of the sun. We see this contraction and expansion throughout every living being or everything that we see in the universe around us. It is the essence of life. Three more breaths here. Noticing the expansion and contraction of your breath as you breathe in, out, the rhythmic flow of your breath. Bringing your hands together in Namaskar at the heart center. Opening by chanting Om. And notice how even with the chanting of sounds, that the waves, the way that waves pulsate, how sound travels in the same pulsation. Inhale fully. Om. 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 Hands to your eyebrow center. Namaste and welcome, welcome yogis. Welcome. So our practice today, I'm really going to invite you to connect with the subtle sensations that you experience in the different asanas, the different poses. So asana means seat, the pose that we adopt. So perhaps you notice the sensation of the mat beneath your feet, any coolness in the air, the sensation of your clothing on your body, the way that your breath flows, perhaps even sensing the beat of your heart, the pulsation of the flow of blood and lymph, all of this constant movement of energy through our bodies. And notice how it feels when you open and contract in poses, how you extend and flex in poses. Notice the duality of movements of the poses where you ground down into the earth through your feet or your hands, and then you lift up with the crown or that sense of lengthening through the spine. So bring awareness to your body today during your practice, and notice how your body moves in and out of fluidity. We'll start with Earth Sky Pranayam. And Earth Sky Pranayam is inhaling to rise up, exhaling to come down towards the earth. As we rise up with our breath, we will invite our arms into the movement. Bring into your mind's eye the earth rising to meet the sky. And as we exhale and draw down towards the earth, bringing our arms down, have in mind the sky coming down to meet the earth. Let's start by placing the fingertips on the earth. Inhaling, rise up with your arms, stretching through your fingertips. Exhaling, let's reach down towards the earth. Notice how this expands your lungs as you rise up, taking the earth with you up towards the sky. As you exhale, bring the sky down towards the earth. Earth Sky Pranayam, inhaling to rise up towards the sky. Exhaling to ground down towards the earth. 3 more like this. Inhale to rise up. Earth, sky, meeting. Exhaling. Sky, earth, meeting. The expansion here as you open out your arms and reach up. The contraction as you draw your arms down towards the earth, and the increasing of that space between your arms and your body. Inhaling to reach up. Exhaling to reach down. This is the movement of energy, Spanda, the pulsation, the vibration. On your next exhale, return your fingertips to the ground. Take a moment here. Exhale, let's turn over to the right. Left hand to the right knee. Inhale, move through center, over to the left. Moving through center, exhaling over to the right. Inhale to move through center, exhaling over to the right. Let's do this 3 more times, and perhaps each time you turn slightly deeper into this twist. And I'm not offering you a particular mudra today, because I want you to move your fingers in a way that feels natural to you. Last time, over to the right, and then to the left. This is where we're going to finish up to even it out. Inhale back to center. Take a moment here, hands on knees. We're going to do Sufi circles. So the circumduction of the spine here. So as you inhale, go over to the left, and then exhale towards the back. So inhaling to move over to the left, around the front to the right knee, and then exhaling to move round from the back to the front. So that you have 2 opportunities here where the breath meets. And allow these circles to be large. So really involve the full length of your spine here. And the reason we're creating these circular movements, these spiral shapes, is that this is how often we notice the patterns of movement in nature. If you have dogs, you'll notice how your dogs walk around the park off leash. They don't go in a straight linear line. They go round in circles, weaving their way. And then now let's swap into the other direction, again, large circles. So we'll start off with large circles. So this time you're going over to the right. And then as you exhale, you're rounding through your spine. You can bring your shoulders into it. And you'll notice that your breath is moving here. And then let's come to stillness. And now we're going to take the same circles over, but we're going to make these circles much smaller. So they'll start up large, come down into a very small circle. And then we'll open up the circle and make it much larger, almost like the spirals on a shell. Over to the left, big circle. And then you make that circle a little bit smaller each time you turn. Each time you circumduct here, until you get to very small circles here, very small, hardly noticeable. And then over to the right this time, and then let's make big circles. So make the circle bigger and bigger and bigger. So I sorted up a bit too big there. All the way over. And this is great. This circular movement of the spine, especially if you have aches and pains anywhere along the length of your spine, this can really feel liberating and releasing. And then let's come to that final big circle. Come to stillness, take a moment here. Let's swing our legs round behind us. We're going to tuck our toes in here. Now, for your knees, you can place folded blanket underneath your knees. You can also place a rolled up blanket underneath the inside of your ankles if this doesn't feel comfortable for you. So stretching out our toes here. Again, we're going to bring in the breath with the movement. As you inhale, open out your arms. Exhaling, cross the right elbow over the left elbow, coming into eagle arms, Garudasana. You can have the backs of your hands together here, or you can wrap your fingertips onto your palm. So left fingertips onto my right palm here. Open out your arms. Let's bring the left elbow over top of the right elbow. And again, we're coming to Garudasana, arms on this side. So what we're going to do is just be swapping over the elbows into eagle arms, opening out, bringing whichever one on top. So swapping them over. So I put my right, my left, opening out, right, opening out. So you have to remember which way you've crossed. Moving with your breath. So there's no science here. What we're doing is we're just going with the flow. So it doesn't matter if you mix up and do twice right, twice left. No judgment. Simply to experience what this motion feels like. And this is great for our upper arms as well. We'll do 2 more. Actually, let's do 3 more. Do 3s, don't I? 3 is the magic number in yoga. And I'm going to finish with the left over the right because I started with the right over the left. And open out. Drop your left fingertips to the earth. Perhaps you need to rest them on a block. Reach up and over with the right arm. Inhale over to the right. So if you need blocks, place blocks on either side. Large books will do the trick. both directions. Let's do this about 6 times and flow. This does actually warm us up. And then when you've gone to both sides, you've done both sides evenly, let's come back to center with hands in namaskar at the heart here. Take a moment. Check out how your toes are feeling, because your toes have been tucked for a while now. If your toes don't feel comfortable anymore, you can untuck them and come onto the inside of your ankles instead. So you're sitting in this thunderbolt pose, Vajrasana, or you can stay with your toes tucked, yogi's choice. I'm going to choose to untuck my toes. I'm going to do lotus prayer wheels here, bringing your hands into Anjali. For those of you who don't practice with me regularly, Anjali looks like prayer, but there's a gap between the palms. So my fingertips are connected, but you can see that little sliver of light. It looks like the bud of a flower. That's Anjali. As we open out our 3 middle fingers, keeping the little finger and thumb connected, we come into lotus at Padma. So from Anjali to Padma, from this bud-like potential, this is also often thought of as a seed of potentiality, opening out into the blossom, blossoming into the flower of lotus. Now, we're going to be doing that as we circle our hands, reaching above our crown, and then we'll be circling them back down towards our heart. So starting and finishing with Anjali. So you want to bring the tips of your index, tips of your thumbs together, downward pointing triangle, backs of hands, like a book, then lotus. And so you just, it takes a little bit of practice. So you can watch this a few times. You can go up as many times as you like, and come down as many times as it takes to reach your heart. And then final round wherever you are. So we're rotating the wrists here, and we're sort of bringing in some fluidity to the wrists. And final breath there. Beautiful work, yogis. If your toes are not untucked, untuck your toes now. Let's roll onto our right hip and then bring the left foot over the right knee. So we come into our twist, seated twist. If this does not feel comfortable with your right leg folded in, extend your right leg long. So we're on our right sit bones, left foot crossed over our right leg, knees are folded here. Take a moment, open out your arms. As you exhale, you either hug in that left knee with the right elbow, or you cross the right elbow to the outside of the left knee and look over your left shoulder. Let's hold for 3 breaths here. And then we'll counter twist over to the right. Bring your fingertips down to the earth to the right, gaze down. And then we'll go back into our twist, a variation of the twist, wherever that right elbow is, either hugging the left knee or on the outside of the left knee. Then do 3 breaths and then back to that counter twist. And we'll do this 3 times. So you're lifting your gaze as you look behind you, lowering your gaze as you do the counter twist. You can flow with more fluidity, or you can be much slower about it. Wherever you are, last twist over to the left. Counter twist. Take a moment. Now, this is the tricky one where we spiral on our feet and come to the opposite side. So if your leg is extended, you can simply extend the leg that's crossed over and extend that both legs and then cross over the other foot. Or if you have this variation of Ardha Matsyendrasana, place your fingertips on the earth. Inhale, lift yourself onto the ball of your right foot. Left foot stays on the earth for the moment. And then begin to pivot on your feet. So you're pivoting on the ball of the right foot and you're sliding the left foot down round. And then you'll find that you come to the point where you've turned all the way around, your head is forward, your knees are crossed here. And then when your knees are crossed, lower your knees back down to the earth. And you'll have your left leg folded under you and your right foot over the left knee. So, should we practice that one more time if you didn't get it? So, if you had your right leg extended and your left leg over your right knee, you extend your left leg, fold in the right, cross it over, and you stay there. If you had your left foot over your right knee and that right foot near your left sit bone, bring your fingertips down to the earth on the inside where you sort of do the counter twist. And then you lift yourself up and you're on the ball of your right foot. You spiral all the way around to the back of your mat so that you're pivoting on your right foot and on your left foot. And then you come back to the front of your mat, knees are crossed. Lower the left knee to the earth. Bring your sit bones to the earth. And you have your right foot crossed over. So a little workshop there. Hopefully we're all in the same place now. Our left foot is over our right foot is over the left leg. Bravo. We're going to inhale and turn over to the right. Hug in that right knee with the left elbow, or take the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Look over your right shoulder. 3 breaths here. As you exhale on the third, counter twist over to the left, fingertips to the earth, gaze down. Inhale, twist. Ardha Matsyendrasana, looking over your shoulder. Exhaling, counter twist. And you can flow here at your own pace. This could be slow, could be a little bit more, with a little bit more pace, depending on what your body needs and how your breath feels. So normally in yoga, in our Hatha yoga practice, we come into a pose and we tend to hold in that pose. So today, I'm allowing us to experience fluidity, sahaj, that flow of movement, that satisfaction that we get from these undulating, spiraling, circling movements. Last time here, looking over to the right in your Ardha Matsyendrasana. Exhale, counter twist to the left. Take a moment here and just for fun, let's practice spiraling back. So hands over here on the left in your counter twist. If you have your left foot folded towards your right sit bone. Inhale, lift yourself up. And then you're on the ball of your left foot, right foot is down. And you spiral and pivot on the feet. Walk your hands all the way around. So you come to the front and then you can bring that right knee to the earth. And you have your left foot crossed over. That was just for fun, yogis. Not going to do anything here. Just wanted you to practice that movement in both directions. Bring your hands to the earth. Inhale. Release your Ardha Matsyendrasana. Come onto your knees here. Claw the earth with your finger pads. so that your palms are creating this sort of suction connection. So just imagine you're clawing something. So you can see there's a bend in my fingers, and then come onto the earth. Toes untucked. Table pose here, Brahmasan. Inhale, lift your tailbone, dip your lower back, lift your gaze. As you breathe in and out here, move from cat to cow, cow to cat, Majriasan, cat, to Bhutliasan. And allow the movement to flow along the length of your spine, almost like it's a wave in an ocean. Allow your body to ride the wave. This fluidity of the spine. This helps to really release the juices of the body, the rasa, the sweet nectar of the body that helps to nourish the body. Allows the body to flow more smoothly. And then coming to stillness, back to neutral when you're ready. And let's circle the hips. One way, then the other. Take big movements. And this is where, if you're Vata in particular, your bones will click. All the air in the joints will click and clack. And then let's go in the other way. So allow yourself to switch the movement, going one way, then the other way. Again, there's no science to how we're moving today. This is your fluid movements. Maybe you bring your shoulders in. And the advantage for you is you're doing this in the privacy of your own home, so you can really create as much movement as you want here, as small or as large as these circular movements you want to invite in. This is the kind of the sense of you'll have your spine spiraling, almost like a corkscrew as you move in one direction. And you'll notice that the way that you create these figure of 8 shapes as well. This was really beneficial for spinal health. The spine supports us through so much. When you're ready and you've done as much movement as you are satisfied with, so you're content with, you might want to lift your wrists and rotate those. If you've been putting any pressure on, rotate your wrist one way, then the other way. You might want to rotate your ankles one way or the other way. Take the time to do this. And we're going to move into mountain pose. Tuck your toes, Parvatasana. Inhale, lift your tailbone. And yes, we're going to sway our hips here. And allow these movements to be very generous today. Bend deeply into one knee as you sway from side to side. Perhaps you point that knee in underneath your body, almost crossing your body so you feel an extension on the opposite side. Maybe even looking underneath your armpits as you sway from side to side. You can see here I'm on the ball on my feet. I'm not trying to keep my legs straight or extended here. I'm allowing my body to move how it needs. One more breath here. And then from here, once you're ready, coming into a little bit of stillness, before we bring our knees to the earth, untuck our toes. We're going to come in Ashtanga Asana to the earth, 8-limbed pose. Untuck your toes, bring your elbows down towards your ribs, bring your heart and chin to the earth, tailbone lifted. 8-limbed pose here. And then slide your knees away. Going to come into Cobra. Inhale, rise up, Bhujangasana. Exhale, flow down towards the earth with your eyebrow center. We're going to flow in movement here. You can keep your palms flat on the earth, or you can cup your palms and come onto your fingertips so that your elbows are slightly more lifted rather than hugged into the sides. But you might want to create a lot of space here, so take your hands perhaps wider than your mat. And inhaling to rise up, exhaling to come down to the earth. You could have your elbows tucked in, palms flat on the earth. Your elbows might be flared out, fingers on the earth, sort of tent-like. So a wide Bhujangasana, or the traditional variation here. Let's flow a few times here. Inhaling to rise, exhaling to flow down towards the earth. And I'm not kidding you, this is hard work. As we're moving, our muscles are contracting and elongating. We are extending and flexing at the same time. So there is this duality going on with these movements. Last one here, yogis. I know you're working hard. Let's release our hands, take our arms alongside our body, palms face up, turn onto your left ear and soften through your body here. This will release any tension that you experienced, especially in your sacrum or lumbar region, perhaps in your shoulders. And let's make a Brahmari breath here, that honeybee breath, that buzzing sound. Inhale through your nose, and with your lips softly parted, make a buzzing sound. The breath comes out through your nose again. Inhale fully. Exhale, Brahmari. Turn your head so that your right ear is lying on the mat now. And let's do a Brahmari breath here. Take a full breath in. Exhale, Brahmari, this honeybee buzzing sound. And sense where you're experiencing that vibration, that's resonance within the heart space. This is the pulsation of sound waves within you, as well as without you, or the outside of you. Let's bring your hands back underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes. We're going to rise into mountain. So go through table, Padmanasana, and then come into Parvatasana. And again, let's sway the hips. So lifting one ankle, one heel, bending deeply into that knee, and then alternating. And perhaps you can look underneath your arms. Then let's come into stillness. You can stay here in mountain, or you can bring your knees to the earth in table. We're going to extend our right leg long behind us. Circle your right foot left from round and round in both directions. And then bend into your knee, and let's circle with the knee. And this will bring the movement into the hip. In both directions, so probably 3 times in one direction, 3 times in the other direction. And then re-extend that leg, and then let's step that right foot forward. If you're in table, You can lift your left knee and bring your right foot to the earth. Here we are. Low lunge here. And here from the low lunge, we're going to pulsate here. So drop into that right hip with that right knee bent, and then reach back through that left heel. So your right knee will extend slightly, but you'll still probably have a bend in it. We're just making very gentle pulsations here. Keep your fingertips connected with the earth. Really sink into that right hip when you come close to the earth. One more here. And then let's press the hands on the earth. Step back with the right foot, coming into body parallel. You can drop your knees immediately to the earth so that you come into half plank, Ardha Phalakasana or Phalakasana. Take a moment here. Ashtang, knees, untuck your toes, tuck in the elbows, chest and chin to the earth. Take a moment, slide your knees away. Let's rise up in Cobra. And let's pulse or vibrate here with the rise and fall of the breath. And again, you can bring your fingertips to the earth, elbows wide. 3 times. And then press into your hands. Lift yourself up through table into mountain, Parvatasana. And again, let's sway here. And we're going to repeat the rotation of the ankle and the knee and the hip here on the left side. So you can bring your knees to the earth in table. Extend that left leg long. And rotate that left ankle 3 times in one direction. And then 3 times in the other direction. And then bend into the knee. And then circle that knee. So you're circling into that hip. 3 times in one direction, 3 times into the other direction. And when you've done that, we're going to step forward with the left foot. If you have your knees on the earth, you can rise up from your right knee. And again, we're going to pulsate here on the left side. So it's just gentle movement, keeping your fingertips connected with the earth or with your blocks. So you may be keeping a very deep bend in that left knee, or you may have more space for extension. Really sinking into that left hip when you come down towards the earth. Your ball of your right foot is on the earth here, so your right heel is lifted. One more here. And then we're going to bring our hands to the earth, step back long, body parallel. You can come straight onto your knees. And then let's all join in Ashtanga Asana. Knees to the earth, untuck your toes, bend your elbows into your ribs, chest and chin to the earth. Slide your knees away. Let's rise up in our variation of Cobra, Bhujangasana. So today I'm really having my fingertips on the earth, my palms cupped, but you can keep your palms on the earth. 3 times. And then press into your palms. Inhale, lift yourself up into table, then mountain, Parvatasana. And let's walk our hands all the way back towards our feet. So there you go. Now here, this is where you might want to release your arms. Allow them to hang heavy, dangle down. Especially in Bhujangasana, we've been on our hands and wrists and doing a lot of work here in our shoulders and upper arms. So you might want to allow them to hang heavy. Perhaps you take hold of opposite elbows. Let's release all of the tension from our upper body here and sway ever so slightly from side to side with your upper body. Again, your hands can be hanging down, or you can hold opposite elbows. Swaying side to side. One more here. And then bend into your knees. Begin to unfurl your spine. One vertebra at a time. Keep your chin tucked in. Let rise up with your shoulders. And then lift your gaze, almost like that. I don't know what that plant is called, but you see often in botanical gardens, that plant that looks like a fern, but then it curls up into sort of a snail-like shape and then uncurls, reaching for the sun. That's the kind of movement we want with our spine when we rise up into Tadasana. Take a moment here. Let's place your hands on your thighs, bend into your knees, reach back with your tailbone, and then let's do some spinal waves here. So spinal waves, some of us will have more flexibility. In order to do the spinal wave, hug in your belly button towards the spine, and then this will contract the belly and your shoulders all around. And then push your tailbone back, dip your lower back, shine your heart, lift your gaze. So it's like seated cat-cow. So when we do cat-cow, we're just doing this motion with our knees bent. We might add a bit more movement because we're obviously on our feet. We can add a little bit more here. Last one. And rising up. Let's do a quarter turn here, facing the top of your mat. Oh, it's just beautiful. I feel like Mr. Marshmallow. I'm more wobbly. All that flow, that movement. Let's take a moment here. We're going to move into Chandrasana moon pose. So let's take the right foot behind us. Bring the ball of the right foot to the earth here. Your hip will go out to the side. Inhale, reach overhead. In Padma, in Anjali, and then Padma. And then as we breathe in and out, let's do this lotus prayer wheel to the heart and up. And what you might do here is you might very gently pulsate with your feet. So gently with your knees. So you can see here the movement, the gentle pulsation. Rise and fall with my lower body. And then at the same time, I'm bringing in the lotus prayer. So I know there's a lot going on here. So if that feels too much, you can simply rise directly to the crown with your lotus and then bring your Anjali to the heart. And you can synchronize the movements if you wish. Because sometimes just doing these free flow might feel a little bit like there's too much going on. One more here. And this left thigh is really going to be feeling this, especially if you're sinking in low. Take a moment, bring that right leg forward, shake out your legs, shake out your hips. So maybe you do circles one way, then the other way. Now let's do the other leg. So this time we're going to take the left foot behind us, be on the ball of that foot. Maybe you drop down into your knees a little bit. Anjali at the heart. And again, you might do gentle pulsations with your lower body here. So you're engaging your muscles, you're contracting your muscles. And then you might lotus prayer wheel through the air, coming back to Anjali, starting from Anjali. Or if that feels too intense, you can start with Anjali and rise up with Lotus and return with Anjali. Oh, I'm feeling it now. So normally, you might be having your practice with some gentle music. Take a moment back to center, release that left foot, maybe circle the knees and the hips in both directions, shake out the legs, whatever you need to release that energy. Take a moment, let's turn back to face the length of our mat. We're going to step forward with the right foot. Turn the left foot to the slight angle, coming into pyramid. Take a moment here. Take a moment here. Let's bring that left hand onto the small of the back. Reach the right hand up and over. And then reach forward with your right hand all the way to your feet. Inhale to rise up. Reach up and over. So this right knee can have a soft bend in it as you reach down and as you reach up. If this feels like too much of a narrow base, remember you can take your feet as wide as your mat, and that might create a more stable base for you. Or you can have your heel aligned with the arch, right heel aligned with the arch of your left foot. One more time here. Reach up, gaze up towards the sky, and then exhale, bend into your right knee and bring that right fingertips to the earth. Inhale, reach up with your left arm, coming into Trikonasana triangle pose. Remember, this right hand can be on your leg, can be on a block or footstool or a chair. Exhale, bring your left fingertips down towards the right palm. Inhale to reach up. Exhaling to bring your left hand towards your right hand. Inhaling to open. So let's flow here. 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times, whatever feels sustainable for you. And remember, this right hand can be on something that's more stable, and this left arm doesn't have to move very far, or if it feels too much, you can simply turn your gaze without having to bring that left arm in. So let's rise up again. Arms open. Turn the right toes forward. Bend into your knees. Let's open out with the arms, straighten the knees, bending into the elbows. So let's just pulsate here. Bend into your knees. Maybe you bring your hands together. Maybe you just cross them here, or you can bring them into Namaskar, yogi's choice. 3 or 4 times. I mean, I'm not really keeping count today because remember, we're moving away from the linear today. And then let's turn, bend into the right knee. Drop the hands, then walk the hands over to the left. Bend into the left knee. Walk the hands over to the right and to the left. And perhaps as you do this, you might wave with your spine. You might slide your hands across the earth. You don't need to come very low, just deepen that bend. And then we're going to finish back over to the right. Take a moment, straighten through that leg, open out your arms. Let's turn the left toes towards the top of the mat, back of the mat, 45-degree angle in the right leg. And we're going to come into that movement here. Right hand on your lower back, left hand reaches open over. Exhale down towards the earth. Inhale, reaching up. Again, going with this for as long as feels comfortable for you. Last time, reaching up. Exhale. Let's hinge over to the left and bring the left hand down towards a block or a stool. Right hand here on your lower back for the moment. And then you can release that right hand to the sky. Coming into Trikonasana. Yogi's choice here about bringing that right hand to meet the left and then re-extending that right arm. Again, if that feels too much, you can keep your right hand on your hip and move your gaze and shoulder. So you're opening the heart. The arm is there to help us see what the heart space is doing here. You can keep that right hand supporting your lower back. Final one here. And then let's bend into that knee. And then let's slide over to the right and over to the left. So again, this movement here, you can use your hands along the earth. You can keep your hands off the earth. So make this movement into any movement that you wish. And we're going to finish over onto the left. Rise up. Take a moment here. Bring your hands in Anjali at the heart. Really, as you know, this circling of energy, this circling of breath, almost creating the breath in our body, the energy in our body is spiraling round like this. It's also expanding and contracting. This is the nature of Spanda, this pulsation at the heart of the universe. Take a moment here, turn the right toes up, bend into that right knee. Open out into Warrior Two, Mahavirabhadrasana. Turn the palms so that they're face up. Turn your gaze over towards the right, find your Tristana. Inhaling, rising into Peaceful Warrior, and then into extended side angle. So through Mahavirabhadrasana, Shanti Warrior, extended side angle. So 3 poses that we're visiting here, traveling through Mahavirabhadrasana. So almost imagine your arms like a cartwheel here. Final round, wherever you are. Mahavirabhadrasana. Take a moment, straighten through that right knee, turn the right toes forward, bend into the left knee by turning the left toes to the back of the mat. Mahavirabhadrasana over to the left. And then let's flow here. So extended side angle, Mahavirabhadrasana, Shanti Warrior, Mahavirabhadrasana, extended side angle. So we're using Mahavirabhadrasana here as a transition point. Again, we'll do a few rounds here. If I wanted to be very precise and linear, I would do 6 rounds. I would do multiples of 3. But you know, who can count while we're doing this? I wouldn't count. I just go with it until I feel the same that I did on the other side. I just sense the balance of energy with both halves. And then back to Mahavira. Turn the left toes forward. Take a moment here. And then let's heel toe to the center. And then let's just shimmy here from left to right. And we're not coming to the earth today because I want to keep this sense of movement and fluidity. So I'm going to invite you here to come into one standing splits, but with a little bit of movement to it. So inhale to reach up. Exhale, bend into your knees and bring your hands down towards the earth or onto your footstool or your chair or blocks. Bend into both knees and then lift the right foot behind you and reach back towards the sky with the right toes. Then bend into that right knee and hug it in towards your nose. And then re-extend. And we're doing this 3 times. Knee to nose and then extend. Your hands can be on your chair, on the sofa, on blocks or footstool, or on the earth. And then when you've done it the 3rd time, hug in that right knee and bring that right foot to the earth. Then sway your hips, walk your feet here just for a moment. And we're going to shift the weight into the right foot and then bend into that left knee and reach behind with the left toes. Crown reaching down, left toes reaching up. We'll be in different places as standing splits here. Then bend into that left knee and hug it in towards your nose. Then re-extend, hug it in, re-extend, hug it in. 3 times again here. And then hug it in and lower the left foot. And then bring your sit bones down towards the earth. Turn to face me. Let's bring the soles of our feet together in Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. Here, the explosion. Right, let's just check my sound. Okay. You can close your eyes or gaze down towards the earth here in Baddha Konasana. And I invite you to curl in all your fingers into your palm with the thumb on the outside, so a soft fist here. And then as you breathe here, move with your palms. So as you breathe in and your lungs expand, open your palms, open your fingers. As you exhale, fold in your fingers, fold in your palms. So you can take a little glimpse at me to see how this movement might look. I'm inviting an Ujjayi breath, that ocean sounding breath at the back of the throat. And I'm going to read you a poem by Rumi here that encapsulates this breath, this practice of Spanda. Your hand opens and closes, and opens and closes. If it were always a fist, or always stretched open, you would be paralyzed. Your deepest presence is in every small, contracting and expanding. The two as beautifully balanced and coordinated as bird wings. The two as beautifully balanced and coordinated as bird wings. The energy that creates and pervades all life. I could see this radiance of consciousness, resplendent and utterly beautiful, silently pulsing a supreme ecstasy within me, outside me, above me, below me. Hands together at your heart center in Anjali. Closing our practice by chanting Om Shanti. If you wish to release the Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose, you can come into Sukhasana. Inhale fully to prepare. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you so much for joining me, yogis. So be careful as you rise from your mats, because you might feel a little bit wobbly with all this movement. You might feel like jelly